Well, hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. This is Brandon from Free State, Colorado, and today I'm joined by Natalie Menten. Natalie is one of Colorado's Liberty leaders and an expert on all things Colorado politics. Well, Natalie, I'm really excited to dig in to this whole scam that seems to be going on with governments taking our tax money, with nonprofits taking our charitable contributions, and somehow it all ends up going to these political campaigns that want to take more money out of our wallets. So, it's cold outside. We're going to get people's blood boiling here. So, Natalie, take it away.
All right, what we're going to talk about here is Jefferson County again, and how, as some people may know, we had a little tax increase go through at the November ballot box. Jefferson County 1A, and that was basically a $66 million steal. And that's just year one, by the way. And it comes down to grifting, abuse, and deception. So most appropriate for that is the Grinch, because here we go into Christmas time, and that big bag of money right there is just again 1 year's worth at about $66 million. So going into this, as many of the folks watching may already know about this, and if not, we'll cover it real quick. Because of research that I did with Jefferson County and keeping an eye on them, especially in study sessions where the real meat happens, came about to know that they were going to be, Jeffco commissioners made a conscious decision to spend $300,000 of our taxpayer money and pay it to political operatives, Ian Silveri and Mansur Gidfer, and have them compile and create a political campaign to get through a tax increase issue 1A, which also has other impacts. It's a forever tax hike, and taxpayer money, so over $300,000 went to these two guys here, grifting on the public dollars to do this. So we've known about this for months. Moving on now, we find out more. Because the whole point of this video really is to know that by being aware, even though it's frustrating, at least you can in this case, find out, make sure you're not contributing to one of these things that you'll hear about later, and you'll go, oh my gosh, my money was actually going there. So here's the case of where this may occur. So with the grift, we lost that money, that $300,000. But in this case, here's an example, very recent campaign finance report for the Citizens for Jeffco's Future campaign committee. Citizens, I have to kind of laugh because a lot of it's big money. This committee was created to eliminate the TABOR refunds and property tax cap in Jeffco. We were one of the long holdouts. We had said no twice in the last 5 years to this, and they came back for spending the $300,000 to recruit some grifters, New Jersey or something, come and talk taxpayers out of their property tax caps and protections. So that's the committee here, Citizens for Jeffco's Future, an issue committee. And this is a campaign finance report from the most recently filed reporting period, October of 2024, showing Colorado Gives Foundation, a nonprofit that we talked about just a little bit, giving $20,000 to the Citizens for Jeffco's Future to take away our property tax cap and TABOR refunds. So anybody who wants to double check this, doesn't believe it, finds it impossible to believe, they can go to Colorado Secretary of State, look at the Tracer system. That's the campaign finance reporting system, and see them for themselves. Now, of all the nonprofits that I could think of, one, say it's like the major, like Goodwill or something like that. Colorado Gives Foundation is very well known within the Colorado area. And so here we've got proof, Secretary of State, showing that money going to the foundation, a nonprofit, is donating to a political campaign to increase taxes. Besides the fact that I mentioned Colorado Gives Foundation, a lot of data gathering goes through this. We'll talk a little more. Brandon, when this came to my attention, I was like, how do you even fight this stuff? It's dark money, essentially, because the nonprofit gets the money, the donor gets to write it off on their income taxes, and you can't track that stuff. So we really don't even know where this money came from. But for anybody who just gave to that nonprofit, very well-known nonprofit, their money maybe went to this.
Wow. I mean, it's so upsetting. It's so discouraging because you have this foundation that people are seeing everywhere. I see it advertised all the time right now because we're in this giving season and they're taking people's money. I'm sure a lot of it goes to these charitable places, don't get me wrong, but a substantial amount, $20,000 is a lot of money for a county ballot measure. And $20,000 of this dark money funneled into this committee, this political committee to raise taxes to take away TABOR refunds. I mean, it's absolutely sickening that Colorado Gives Foundation is involved in this.
Yeah. So here's a slide that's showing the top three donors to this ballot issue 1A in Jeffco. Um, First, we've got top amount, $25,000. And we've got the award for top donor here, Greg Stevenson, uh, uh, connected with Stevenson Toyota, known in the community in the Golden area, more importantly, known as a real estate developer. So, side note there, this is a county issue. There's three people that decide zoning issues in the county. That's three county commissioners who were pushing 1A. And Stevenson is a real estate developer, frequently known for some different developments. So if he's going to pad the way, make sure he stays friendly with the community, he gets tapped to give $25,000. So it might make you think if you're going to buy a Christmas car, maybe you don't want to spend your money with Stevenson Toyota, is what I would say. Although I'm surprised because really the brothers, anyway, I won't go down to that. But anyway, next up on this issue 1A, something you're going to see it's blocked out here in the gray because we're going to talk about this in a couple days, and it's another one of these big donors. And then the third one, we've got Colorado Gives Foundation, a business, they say, nonprofit, at 20,000 bucks. So again, nonprofit donors aren't identified. So who's to say where this money came from? But they get a deducted contribution from income taxes. And I think most people think about when you have a deductible thing from your income taxes, the general philosophy is it's really not going to ballot issues to increase somebody's taxes, right? Um, so this is just slide going in real quick. Colorado Gives Foundation. So if anybody wonders, you hear about a lot of these nonprofit names. Here's a slide from their own page showing they created Colorado Gives Day and then coloradogives.org. So I just include this. So if anybody has said, well, maybe it's coloradogives.org is somebody different. Nope, that is the three variations. We make good happen by connecting people, ideas, and nonprofits. We're transparent, transforming the way Colorado gives, but they don't say, and we also want to take away your property tax caps. Don't say a word about that part. Next
Wow.
slide. And I'm trying to move it, and it'll fly by me, I'm sure. Ah, this slide here, I just threw in, we'll go through. Committed to being faithful stewards, accountability, excellent to its donors. It's basically, I just had a faithful stewards. I don't know that people really think Colorado Gives Foundation again. Is it a faithful steward to give your money, that donation to a property tax increase? And the IRS actually lets nonprofits donate up to a certain amount, but it's so hard to track. In the 990 form, which is what you get for a nonprofit, doesn't provide you a lot of detail. Colorado Gives Foundation, this is a periodic audit. The reason I included this, you can see there does have a lot of money, a lot of money. So if they start to make it regular practice, which they could if it follows in the trend of what we'll show you in a second here, to increase these campaigns, they've got $366 million. 352 million is probably upcoming estimated there, I'm guessing, that's undesignated. So that's money that could be people watching this video right now and you gave to Colorado Gives Foundation, and your money could be sitting in there waiting to go to some ballot issue. This is a contribution policy, Colorado Gives Foundation. Basically, where the red little arrow points, all contributions are considered available for general use unless specifically restricted by the donor. So even let's say you have donated to Colorado Gives Foundation because you clicked on something recently or whatever, apparently you can send them an email and you could say, I do not want my money to go to a tax increase issue. And how they would track all that, I don't know. This again, just reflecting, they've got a lot of serious money that has been distributed through it, and they've got a lot of nonprofits are using the platform. And again, I would think about donor privacy ultimately in a group that has access to that much information because they're running the platform, running the financials, basically billing. It looks like, it appears to me, I haven't subscribed and won't, but that when you are working with this, the nonprofit would then be waiting on Colorado Gives to be giving them a billing for all of the processing fees. So again, there's a data transfer there.
Wow. And 3,700 nonprofits across Colorado work with
Yeah,
this Colorado
30.
Gives Foundation. I mean, 3,700. So you got to think a lot of these nonprofits have no idea that Colorado Gives is going to use some of their money they get out of this, facilitating all these donations, these nonprofit contributions to go towards tax increases. Absolutely and utterly shameful.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I looked up their processing fee and it was like 3.99%. I think anybody can go vet this. I can only give so much time to researching everything, but it appeared by 3.99% processing fee. For anybody who's been like myself, that's owning a self shop, know those processing fees can really add up. 3.99% is not a great, awesome processing amount. So it just raises questions for me. Is Colorado Gives saying it's 3.99% processing fee, but it's actually a little bit less? And does this generate then money that's pocketed by Colorado Gives Foundation? Don't know. If that's the case, and I'm not going to make an accusation, I'm just going to say it's a possibility. Maybe it's not just 3.99%, it's less. That means that any nonprofit that has ties to Colorado Gives would be basically giving up. They've got an incentive program. There's a lot of things don't make it clear. That's very true with a lot of these processing fees. Just they don't give great billing statements. Um, but here's a mission statement, and I want to quote this part. This is from the IRS 990 form. Um, they have been, we make grants to nonprofits serving Jeffco. I'll just mention that because there's non-governmental organizations we have seen that then get involved in ballot issues. So it is not only, let's say, like a direct donation, donate to Colorado Gives, and maybe your money is the check written out to a tax increase campaign, but also if grants made to nonprofits and those nonprofits then turn around and they're the ones saying, pass this issue, get involved with this public policy, that then it's also creating, maybe it's not the nonprofit that somebody's building, thinking of, but then it goes on to say our work is rooted in radical listening and a commitment to equity and inclusion. Um, uh, Again, the foundation runs coloradogives.org, a year-round giving website featuring more than 3,700 nonprofits. A
Wow.
lot of money, potentially going in different directions. And that's when you dig into this stuff, you do see these spider webs, and I realize there's a lot of nonprofits that do fantastic, great, wonderful work. I give one off the top of my head. I tapped today for info, and that's Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition. And I need to give my donation for the end of the year to them because they deserve it for what I can afford. But anyway, here's back to the 990 form. We've got the CEO. This is the compensated positions within a nonprofit. It's part of a 990 form you can get from the IRS. It should be at nonprofit websites. This is where I pulled it, so it's their own data. And within it, you're going to see the president CEO making 344,000, COO and CFO 284,000. So while not $1 million, they're certainly not, having to depend on ramen for this nonprofit for their meals, and and that's so. With that, going back to where are the ties in this? Well, First Bank seems to have a common thread within these things with Colorado Gives Day. So again, do we know where the money's coming from? No, we don't. But here's a slide that shows. Thank you for Brandon for getting this up. Colorado Gives Day is December 10th. That's coming up, and this is what is it? Presented by First Bank. So First Bank has some ties in this somehow, but with the 990 forms, it's difficult to exactly tell because they're not exactly laid out line by line item of where money's flowing in and out because donors are not disclosed. And I think you had done some work on this in the past, and maybe you and I did. We were trying to talk about that and can remember. But I remember going back years ago, First Bank creating a real thorn in my side because of contributing to SC on C&D, which was a TABOR issue, 5-figure amount. There's a couple other different issues there I've been personally involved with. I mean, if I had to look at this like offensively, I mean, they have attacked so many different ways. This one here raises the bar. That is restricting our right to get issues, citizen issues on the ballot. We've got Jeffco school tax increases. Coloradans for responsible reform. Again, I think that was, no, I think I remember. Anyway, nothing's that I've been on side. So we got different sides here. What's the point of this one here? First Bank may be putting money through Colorado Gives Foundation, no way to know, but they have a history of donating to campaigns. So again, what can you do about this? First, just as I discovered years ago that First Bank was doing these things, it made me search out a credit union. And because I did not know of, and this would be smaller ones within the community, they did not donate to campaigns. I do enough research, and I think you do too, on who's donating to ballot issues. And I don't recall seeing credit unions like a First Bank example here of throwing tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars at issues that are contradict what I want to see out of government. And you threw in this slide. You want to go on this one? You
Yeah,
have
so
the
last year, if people remember Proposition HH, an issue Natalie covered and I quite a bit during 2023. But Proposition HH would have eliminated our TABOR refunds in this little fake property tax relief, the thing that Jared Polis was pushing. And who was one of the big donors to Proposition HH in 2023? Well, it was the First Bank chairman of the board and former CEO, John Eichart. 35,000 big ones going to Proposition HH. So, Natalie, you pointed out there's a pattern here. There's organizations that are very politically motivated that are spending money that they're getting from their customers or donors or what have you, and it's going towards these tax increases. So, people need to be warned.
yes. And that is it. Be warned, your charitable donation may be going to tax increases. So choose wisely on what you decide to do with those deductible contributions you may be making in the last month of the year for the closeout of the tax year. And I think of 2 or 3 great organizations that our main job, it's easy enough to search them out, is to provide tax relief, protect the taxpayers' bill of rights. If you want to give a contribution, protect our right to open government transparency, Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition, Colorado Union Taxpayers, Tabor Foundation. There's a list of different ones that are doing direct good work where you know where it's going to go.
And definitely encourage people, if you go to freestatecolorado.com, find this video, the link there. I'll have a list of websites to these organizations, the true pro-freedom, liberty-leading organizations in our state. Much better use of your funds, in my personal opinion, than going to Colorado Gives or some of these other big organizations that might just end up spending your donation or money they get related to all these contributions to increase your taxes, take more money out of your wallet. And it's so insulting, it's so terrible. People pay attention, be warned, and get this information out there. Time is of the essence here. So, yeah, what else, Natalie?
Just the best charity of all. Just going to say, keeping more money in people's pockets. They know what they need to spend it on. So there we go. There's our video. We tried to do it short.
Well,
That's
appreciate you,
a lot of
Natalie.
info.
Thank you for doing the research. Thank you for getting this information together. This is so important, and it's amazing. There's a spider web of nonprofits, corporations, government entities, government political power players like county commissioners and Jeffco who are involved in these elaborate webs to take away our rights, to take away our money. So thank you for exposing it. This is such important work. I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah. Thank you. And I hope everybody has a very prosperous 2025. And thank you so much for putting this word out on this. There is a Jeffco town hall. If somebody wants to comment, I forgot to throw that in, might as well. Jefferson County Town Hall, December 10th. It's from 6 to 7 p.m. You can call in. It's a virtual WebEx. and asked the county commissioners why they stole $66 million of our money. Uh, then a little steam. And so now that I'm done with that, thank you again for watching the video. Remember to subscribe to Free State Colorado.
Perfect. Take care. You'll see our next video soon, going over revealing who that other big donor was to
Yes.
this Jefferson County 1A initiative this year and how they're politically involved in some really bad stuff coming up. So stay tuned, people. And thank you. Take care and talk to you soon.
Okay.